stardust, so shine.
Peace and blessings, family, and welcome to Labors of Love podcast, the Fatherhood series. We are here to inspire, uplift, and enlighten. Each episode, we will be hearing from fathers sharing their perspectives and experiences on all aspects of the fatherhood journey. This evening, I have the privilege of speaking with Yannae Kemp, a father and master transformation specialist. He founded and pioneered YTK, a full-service enterprise that offers a wide range of innovative and revolutionary coaching services and programs, including multiple wellness platforms and resources, to assist individuals to their full potential through personal empowerment and self-actualization. The services provided by YTK are based upon a core belief that the soul leads a person to their purpose. Once aligned with this understanding, clients are able to empower their true self, cultivate a lifestyle of physical and emotional wellness, develop routines and strategies that support their goals and vision, and ultimately engineer a transition to their higher self and greater life's journey. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome. Peace and blessings, family.
Peace.
Yes. So we're just going to jump into this conversation. I definitely want to thank you, Yannae, for joining us this evening.
And thank you for inviting me on your born day. Again, I have to reiterate how amazing that is. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, so this is truly a labor of love. So I'm enjoying all of this. So thank you. But I just really want to get into the conversation around this experience that we've all experienced in some capacity of childbirth and pregnancy. Really wanting to understand, prior to becoming a father, did you have any knowledge, understanding? Did anyone bring you through or kind of share with you, or did you experience anyone else's experience that could prepare you for that?
You know what's funny is I remember saying that my daughter is the first child I've ever seen grow up from baby to adult.
Okay.
I've never seen that before. No little brothers, nieces, cousins, no, not even friends that have had kids, because in my life, I've been much of a loner, I guess, if you want to say. I don't like that term because it almost makes it try to sound like you're trying to be cool and edgy. Like, no, I'm saying that that's a decision I made that in some ways I don't like that decision. But one of those reasons is because there are things you don't get to see grow and evolve, such as when you keep in relationship, right? And so I never really, I've seen children at like 2, and then the next time I see them, they're like 9.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, where did time go? Like, bro, it's been 9 years.
Okay.
So my daughter was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just coming into the process of, finding out you all are pregnant and that experience, was it something that you all had to like take classes? Did you start reading books? Like, were there anything that you were doing to kind of prepare to understand what was going on?
Yeah. I got a book called Dude, You're About to Be a Dad. That's what it was called. And it was really for straight up me, a man that had no understanding of like how this would go. I've never seen a woman raise a child. I've just seen a woman with a child. I've never seen any of this, my wife at the time, my daughter's mother at the time, she's seen her nieces, her nephews, little cousins. So she's seen it before, but I never have. So that was the one book I got. We didn't take classes. And I think one of the things that I always would say to her when we were first having our child is, I know she's very much a taskmaster.
Okay.
So I'm like, listen, you can't necessarily just be a taskmaster here because we're both new. We don't know this. We got to learn this together. But it didn't go like that. She had a whole system of how she was, and that's how she thought. And truth be told, I'm appreciative that she was, because I don't think, as much as I try, I don't think I could create the systems that were necessary to make sure a newborn was being cared for in the proper way and consistently. She did good at that. So that's something I wasn't prepared for any of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. So as far as like the experience of the labor and delivery piece, was that like in a traditional hospital setting? Were you present in the room? What
Yeah.
was okay.
Traditional hospital setting. I was present in the room. Definitely wasn't trying to be on the other side. I'm cool right here on the by her face, just encouraging.
Okay.
Just thinking about it, man. It's still all a blur. I don't know if I was fully connected at the time.
Okay.
To the moment. I was there. I remember I was there the whole time. I remember going there, but there's other moments that are much more clear than that moment, and they could be random moments, but there were very clear moments that I remember that, wow, like we have a child, we have a baby,
Right. No, definitely. And I definitely want to speak to that because there are those memorable highlights. I like to say that I definitely have a lot of amnesia from my experiences because of the intensity, but so you'll do it again. But
right. I know, because if you remember everything, like, maybe not. Every pain, like that.
Right. But there's those highlights, right? So we definitely play back the highlight reels. I definitely am interested in what that was like for you. And if there is any, insight that you can share from what you may have wanted to do differently or something you learned from that experience, because, that is parenting in general is definitely like this honorable, significant task that you're undertaking. But there's something very vulnerable about that window of pregnancy and labor and delivery. Is there anything that you took away from that you would share with someone who is, in position as far as they're about to become a father?
I would say that, man. So there's a lot of dynamics for me because I was married at the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good marriage.
Okay.
But she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So that was that's what made the experience not as pleasant. I think I could have been much better in regards to like how I showed compassion. And not to say that I was like really, really bad, but I just know that we were at odds. I know we weren't connecting in any kind of way. We both know that. But we were still living together, so I would say, the compassion and the empathy. We were talking about knowing each other's story, you know what I'm saying? And how important that is. If we really viewed it as we would view as an audience member a movie or a TV show where we're seeing a guy mess up, but we know his whole story leading up to it. We followed him from the beginning up until that moment where he messes up, and we're like, he shouldn't have done that. But we see how he got to that.
Yeah.
Her story, we know she's going to be pissed when she finds out, and then she wants to leave him, but she got a whole story too of why she's so upset.
Yeah.
And when he explains it, we're sitting there as the audience like, nah, bro, you got to tell her
everything.
You got to tell her everything, because then she'll know. It'll be all good. We just got to know each other's story, and we can really show that empathy for one another. And even if we're not together, even if we're not getting along, I'm understanding your story as a woman who got married. Now you're in a turbulent marriage. Looks like it might end. You don't know what to expect in regards to your first child. Those are things that I didn't keep at the forefront of my mind because I was thinking about my own story.
Right.
And I think that's what I would do different if I have another child, is really make sure we're understanding where we are in life, during this time.
Wow. Now that's powerful. And I think that's dynamics that I don't necessarily, especially in these kind of formats, aren't talked about enough. Like we tell birth stories and it is a beautiful, miraculous, experience. But you're dealing in relationship. And a lot of times there are those aspects of, communication. Those things don't go away because you're expecting. So just that, that piece about empathy and how beneficial it can be, because the baby's absorbing everyone's energy that it's in
Yes.
contact with. So
Yes.
making that
Absolutely.
effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's greatly appreciated. So just in moving forward into fatherhood, I know you mentioned that there were some highlights in the highlight reels. So what are some of the standouts from even up until present day that are kind of like, that you fall in love all over again, kind of, fatherhood moments?
So one moment I always mention, my daughter will be like, "Oh." But I loved it so much, and it's such a small moment. But I always knew that she was going to be emotionally intuitive. Like I knew that she was going to have what I have, And I remember picking her up. I was in LA for a short stint, probably about 3 months, while she was, so probably from like 5 to 8 months, or maybe 6 to 9 months.
Oh.
And I'd visit, or they would come and visit, you know. But her mother, having the best family in the world, like I love her family, and having the structure that she created, that's what she acclimated to. That's what she got accustomed to. When I came back around, and we were getting the divorce at the time, and I wasn't coming back around, I was just coming back from LA. So when I came back, there was conflict, a lot of conflict with Zoe and I, where she was always wanting her mother. She was always crying if she left. And that was hard to handle, because I'm like, yo. And up until not even present day, but not present day, but not too long ago, I still dealt with Zoe, my daughter, wanting to, choose her mother over me. You know what I'm saying? So, long story less long, I picked her up. She was giving me problems, trying to change her before we leave. She's giving me all types of problems. We get in the car. I bring her to where I was staying at the time. And I'm taking her for a walk. So she just learned how to walk. So I'm still holding her hand. She had some words. And she had dada. And I said, yes, baby. She said, I'm sorry. And I'm like, for what? And then she's trying to like talk, but she's babbling her baby talk. This is when I really realized, number one, how emotionally gifted she is. She's so intuitive, because you connected that we just had a problem. You were giving me a problem, and you're acknowledging that and saying sorry to me.
Right.
It was amazing. That's like one moment that I'll never forget.
Yes. Yes. No, that is beautiful. And like to just, to connect all of that and to be able to even, like you said, the emotional intelligence to say, like, I'm sorry. And I'm sure she had a whole explanation going in that babble.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it was amazing. And she really is, to this day, the conversations we have, like I could say to her, how did that resonate with you? She knows exactly what she knows what to respond to. And, we get really, and she's only 8, but we are so real and honest about our conversations, and not on a friendly aspect, on a way where she just knows that the space is there. Like, I will give you an opportunity to express your opinion, speak your mind, not argue with me disrespectfully. When you wrong, you wrong. I'm gonna let you know, hey, there's nothing else to be said. It's done. Right? She knows when those moments are. But for the most part, tell me why you think that. And I'm gonna come back to you, and you're gonna come back to me. But if you don't have no argument, it's not sound, it's not, come on, baby, you're doing this because whatever. So, but it's just, and she'll always have that space. And I love that.
That is a powerful foundation, because I know we talk about this a lot, communication.
Yes.
And one of the most significant aspects of it is to have a safe space to be, right? Like what I'm saying in this moment might not make sense. I might be wrong. But to be able to have that sense of security to express, and then to the masculine, it being your daughter?
That is key. Because in the society we're in, and no, you need to know that this is, you have every area to be able to speak that. And you're not talking to you're talking to a very divine dominant masculine. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be no thing to do it with any other man.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's profound. So yes, so many takeaways.
Yeah.
And we got a whole lot to talk about.
I know.
But
Only
I know
30 minutes?
it always goes by too fast, but we're going to take full advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I know you brought up and mentioned in our previous conversation, and something I feel like is extremely valuable, because it has become somewhat percentage-wise the norm for co-parenting to have to take place.
Yes.
And so it's a reality, yes, for the majority of us.
To be honest with you, I don't even think there's enough work around that. That's something that for my coaching business and my coaching path, I would say that's my next area that I really want to focus on: relationships and co-parenting.
Yes.
It's like, look, we could, in a perfect world, we would change the whole culture and say, yo, no teen pregnancy, no pregnancy before marriage. Like, absolutely. Maybe if The Walking Dead happens and we could create a town all over again, we could start there. Right. But we're here now.
Yes, we are.
We're here now. And there are, I don't know the number, but there are a lot of co-parents that are becoming co-parents every day.
Absolutely.
So we need to put a way stronger focus on how to navigate that.
Absolutely.
Probably just as much, if not more
so
than trying to prevent.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. Because I think the foundation of it would be the prevention, right? Like if we are having healthy relationships and we are having healthy communications and we are creating spaces for, difficult dialogue, I think a lot of times we make choices and decisions that might seem unfavorable because we haven't gotten that guidance, right? We don't know that there's someone who we can have a conversation where we won't be judged or, put in this box because we're dealing with whatever. But this is absolutely the foundation, the whole co-parenting aspect. So how did that play a role in, it sounds like your transition early on in parenthood to allow you to, come to the space that you're in now?
So I think men need to be real about this, and women.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just talking to the men. Yo, if you still are messing with or wanting or trying to get with your child's mother, your co-parenting will always be affected. Yeah. You have to, you cannot, it's completely different. If she says she doesn't want to be with you, you have to understand the work you have to do on yourself to completely let that go and co-parent the child. Because, and vice versa for women too, for both people, because I think that played a role in why my daughter's mother and I have been able to co-parent so well, because we didn't want each other. We knew what it was in the aspect of intimacy in a partnership, but we also knew we had respect for one another. We also knew that we had a love for one another, but we didn't want each other in that way. So no confusion happened. There wasn't really any trying to use, there was weird stuff that, yes, she might have done. But at the time, I will say, and she'll say this too, I have no problem saying this here, that there was a period of time where when she went through her process with the divorce and how she was responding to it, one of the things I always landed on is we are both first-time parents. So I always landed on that. She knows that. And that was my way of sometimes being a little too understanding, I guess, because I had a community of people, good people, who were like, listen, when she's with you, she's with you. And you got to be cool with that. And just, you don't got to tell her anything. I didn't like that.
No.
I'm like, nah, we both first-time parents. She's a first-time mother. I know how she is, so I'm just gonna let her know. And and sometimes I try to put my foot down, but we would bump heads, and I wouldn't let go. And so we stay here until she finally falls off, and we're good. That was some of the reason why, like, I'm gonna put my foot down when it's time to do that. But most of the time during that period, I always did that, and I think there was a respect level from her to me for that. That like he has been mindful of where I am, in regards to mentally or emotionally, even to this day, to this present day, and vice versa. Like there's been times where she's done the same thing, but in the beginning, when she was going through her period, had I fought back and want to be spiteful and we just wouldn't have done that. So I kind of stood my ground on the fact that we're first-time parents, both of us. So if she's losing sleep or if she's worried or, and I wanted her to be the same way. And there was a time where it wasn't going that way, but I stood my ground on that. I think that created a respect, but we also didn't want to be together. We weren't jealous of one another, we just wanted to do best for our child. And then there was also disagreements here and there. There was times where we had to find a rhythm. We had to find a flow of how something was going to be managed. We still have disagreements here and there on things, but again, the communication, the respect, and no messiness. We're not trying to get with each other or mess with each other's lives because we have a partner.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's definitely just part of it. And the relationship doesn't end. It really is an evolution of the relationship, because I feel like in some instances you have to be more emotionally intelligent and have better communication skills at this stage than you did when you were together, because sometimes you just allow things to go. Yeah.
Right now, I would say, like, this is the best we've ever been as co-parents.
Yeah.
Like, we truly love one another. Like, I want her to be okay. I tell her that. Same with me. Yeah, man, like we have a really great co-parenting relationship that I'm really I'm proud of. And again, like she's still getting on my nerves, and I know I still get on her nerves. Yeah. There was always like something that I would miss in like tasks she would give me. Okay. Like when we were married, which I couldn't stand that, but that's her. She's a taskmaster. So she asked me for a favor the other day. I went to go do it. Sure enough, I missed the detail that put me in some shit. I'm like, yo, never fails with her. Like, this is just what it is. But it's cool. Like, she doesn't wish I know she's not wanting no ill will towards me. A lot of co-parenting situations that I see that are very toxic or not working out or they're not communicating, it's one of the two. One of them is not separating the co-parenting from their feelings of how they feel about the person.
Right.
And they're not doing that. You have to know you have to separate those two. And I know for some it might be hard. It wasn't hard for us because we knew our marriage was already just not supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But for others, at one point, they really loved the person. Mm-hmm. If I had a child with my ex, who I was like really, really in love with at the time, and we had a child together right now, and it ended the way it did, we might not have the best co-parenting relationship. I might have to do a lot of work on me before I could really deal with her in that capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about the value it is to Zoe or any child to witness their parent working together or like just having, so how does that resonate with you? Like, or how do you see that in your experience?
So I don't know how how she internalizes that. I just know it's healthy. I know it looks good. She never sees us at odds. We're never talking bad about one another.
Yes.
Sometimes I tell her, like, yo, did you tell mommy you're doing a good job or anything like that? You should go tell her that. You know what I'm saying? And we don't do any. We'll check in. Hey, you good? How you feeling? So I think in the long run, I think Zoe's is just going to see, that respect and that love being modeled, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that somehow it's going to play a huge role in how she shows up to her relationship.
Absolutely. And I think that's of significant value because the contrast of that can cause a lot of just risk, even in your own development, not even being conscious as a child of experiencing that, but what your takeaways are, what your understanding of how, men show up. Like if, my parents divorced. So if my mother was sitting there bad mouthing my father just because she was coming from a hurt space, then even on a subconscious level, I'm going to look like, something's wrong with him, or, that's not correct, or, there's going to be something in the energy, which is going to be something in our dynamic that's going to be impacted by someone else's emotions. Really.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I, again, going back to what we were saying about the work that needs to be done on helping people co-parent, it's such a huge piece because when I speak with a lot of brothers, like I know what's blocking them from being able to show up, and I know, again, knowing each other's story, for a lot of women, what blocks them from being able to receive, even when he does show up.
Yes, because these messages in your head, like, it can't be this good. Like, he can't be, that guy. So
Right.
if you're not doing your work, and that's the funny thing, because people think it's only in challenges that you have to show up. And sometimes you have to show up when things are working out for you and are coming to you in the way that you desire, to be able to, like you said, allow that in, to allow that love, to allow this healthy relationship, if that's something you hadn't experienced before. So I think that's an amazing segue into what it is that you are doing, and kind of sharing some of, because there's some phenomenal things going on, and healing is definitely something that is near and dear and part of my calling. So when I see the things that are going on, especially being offered to the community, I want to shout it from the rooftops. So let's get into some of the things that you have to offer.
So I have a health and wellness life coaching, transformational life coaching business. I'm more and more, I'm getting like annoyed with the word coaching, because it seems like it's like, I'm going to give you a playbook, a play-by-play. You go do that. And we're not doing that in our work. We're partnering with you. You're on a journey, getting somewhere, whether that's healing, whether that's a higher self place in life, whether that's a relationship, and we partner with you to help you make that happen. You know what I'm saying? We take what you give us, we take what we give you, and we make a nice gumbo of just success. Nice. You know what I mean?
I like the gumbo.
So that's what I do. I partner with people through health and wellness. So yes, through as far as how you eat, how you take care of your body, but also your emotional wellness, your spiritual wellness. And we do that various ways, so that's what I offer. And I think more importantly to this whole work that we do is like we bring people back to their power so they can navigate this human experience the best way possible. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we need the accountability, and we need that person that's going to take our wellness as a priority, and that's what I offer through YTK Transformational Services. So you can call me at 203-397-6022 if you want to have a consultation. It's free, and we'll just talk to see where you are in life, where you want to go to, how you want to evolve. I also work with men, with Kevin Muhammad. We do Black men and resilience. So we just had our first retreat in December, and a lot of this work that I do with clients, I do with the men, because it's their methods and strategies and perspectives and ways of navigating their life that they normally don't do, because we're not modeled that, we're not taught that, and we don't really understand how important it is for our bodies. You know what I'm saying? So I work with men, and definitely having more of a focus on relationship, and I'm going to still be talking about it. You and I are going to be doing a whole podcast on it. But I just want to be mindful of putting my services out there as a coach in it because I'm not certified. But I am certified in life coaching and health and wellness coaching.
Yeah. And I appreciate the clarity around the coaching, because it is like, you're a companion on this journey. And a lot of times, your life experiences and kind of what you can bring to the table can be valuable. Accountability is a major aspect of transformation. Like,
it's huge. And another thing I want to say too is that coaching is not therapy, So it's like, I always tell people, I have a list of therapists that I'm like, are you seeing a therapist? No? Yeah. Okay, I recommend this therapist. I recommend, this person who's going to deal with your finances, a financial expert. I provide the other services that are going to be wrapped around the client so they can really move into their higher self. But therapy is so important for discovering and unlocking things in our past that limit us in the present. Indeed. And then coaching is something that creates a structure where you can pull the new future you want to your present, So I just want to make that distinction, because some people kind of think it's one or the other, or one's better than the other. No, they both work together. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Now that's beautiful. And I am such an advocate for all of those things. Personal growth and development, again, is a never ending. It's something we continue to evolve, put energy into ourselves, and it definitely reflects in our interactions with others. So I truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with me in this audience. I think the information that's shared is like invaluable. We can't have these conversations enough. We have to continue the dialogue. If you listened to this and found anything of value, please absolutely share.
Yes.
Reach out. Please give your website. I'm also going to put it down in the description just so people can reach out to you just by clicking.
www.ytktransformation.com. You could also call me at 203-397-6022. And you can email me at kempenterprisellc@gmail.com.
Truly appreciate it. All that will be in the description. So definitely click, get that information, get in contact, free consultation, see what it's about. It's worth the time and energy. And you deserve it, right? Self-care, you deserve it.
Make yourself the priority.
Indeed.
Don't put other people and other things responsible for your wellness. When you tell yourself, I don't need to do that because I got my kids. You just made your kids the reason why you didn't prioritize your wellness. That's not fair to them. Prioritize your wellness so you can be your best for everyone and everything you do. So hit me up. Let's work.
Indeed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Peace and blessings, family.
Peace.